haven't made a video in a while, but me and Peter and Christian are on our way to install a single zone Fujitsu Ductless mini split system. We just finished up the heater. It's on the second floor. It should be a straight rundown with the line set. And temporarily we're gonna steal power from another unit while we wait for an electrician to bring power to it. But hopefully I get some good footage and show you how we do it right. So we're scratching the temporary power. The existing units are all 115 and this is a 240, but the unit is going in the center of this wall. We're on the second floor. So we'll run the line set all the way down outside and to the unit. So just unboxed the unit, got it put on the box and kind of like a table. I have to take this bracket out and then mount it on the wall, center of the wall. Peter's grabbing a measuring tape so we can find our center. And then we gotta drill a hole outside for the line set, which is right here. Okay, so I got the bracket up, I got my hole drilled, and I have my unit set up. Here is the unit, got the cover off the filters out so we can run the communication wire through the back and onto here. Got my line set wrapped nice and tight with my drain underneath on the bottom, so that way I could stick it through the hole easily. Hole is exactly where it needs to be according to the manual, and brackets up, and plenty of screws so this thing's never ever coming down. Just waiting for them to stick the wire through that hole. I could pull it through the unit and then I could mount it up. So we got the unit mounted in the center of the room. And now we're cleaning up out here because the rest of the work is outside. So I already cut and started my flare fitting, but I don't have the cordless HVAC flaring tool. But this is the one with the clutch in it or whatever it's called, so I don't over torque it. And I also put a little bit of nylog on as kind of a lubricant. That way it's not grinding on the copper and making the flare scratched up and damaged. And you can see every time it comes out completely perfect. That's not scratches, it's just like debris that the nylog leaves behind. And then when I connect, I'll also put nylog on the mating surface and a little bit on the threads to kind of help me slide it on a little bit easier. I peel back the insulation on this, just put a slit in it. And I'm cutting it with my little LENOX tubing cutter. And I always cut it super slow when flaring, because I don't want to have any unnecessary ridges on it. You can see that cut comes out like completely perfect. And this is 1/4 inch. Whenever I do 1/4 inch, I don't poke it out at all from the flaring block, because then it always makes the flare too big. And I usually get the cone lined up, even though it has little markings for whether or not it's lined up. And make sure this is nice and tight. That's it. And whenever I loosen this, I'm always careful not to bend the copper and ruin the flare. But you can see, oh, forgot the nut. Gotta do it over. Just finish this flare. And again, comes out perfect. get it, make sure it's got no weird spot. It does have a weird spot. So if you zoom in, you could see there's like a little bump in it right there. So I'm gonna have to cut this and do it over to make sure this cone is clean, and put some more nylog on it. And you could see it's good flare. That's some nylog residue, but it slides over and it seats in there perfectly all the way around. I've never had a problem with the flares I make with this tool, so I don't see any reason to get a big expensive one yet, other than it being faster, but this works. I am up on the ladder now. I won't be able to record doing this, but what I do is I kind of bend the pipe to the same degree that the outlet is. I'll seat it on, and then I'll thread it hand tight with some nylog on the surface, just a little tiny bit, and then I'll tighten it down. Okay, so we got both our flare fittings connected, and I will cover them up, but after the pressure test. And I got my drain hose hooked on there and taped up just to make sure it doesn't slide out, even though it kind of latches into the existing hose from the unit. And now we're gonna run slim duct down to that point, put a 90, go over, and then go over to that unit, the first unit there. Peter's grabbing the Sawzall. Right now I have one length of coupling and the outlet mounted. We marked out a cut we're gonna need for that right there. And then I'm hoping the leftover from that cut will be perfect to get us from here down. Okay, I have my line set roughly cut to length, my wire roughly cut to length, my drain hose roughly cut to length. My disconnect is mounted on the wall, and I'm waiting for the 2 elbows to arrive here so that I can run the slim duct down, hook up the line set, and pressure test and charge. Right now I'm gonna pull off that cap, get my shrieker core removal tool on there so we're all set up for when we need to vacuum and pressure test. And I'm gonna start to clean up some of the mess we had. Chris came back with the elbows, and Chris and Peter did that. It only took Chris 2 hours. Yep. And the line set's done and connected. 2 hours to drive the traffic. Pressure tested, pulling down a vacuum. He's doing the disconnect. Peter should be cleaning up, and then we'll dump the charge, and we should be good. We finished up, vacuumed it down to below 200 microns. It held. Dumped the charge, got it all wired up, gonna put the cover on. Got our line set neat, kind of just did everything so that it matches with the rest. That's where I used that disconnect and not the switch disconnect. And our line set goes across and up and into the indoor unit. And here's that indoor unit in place in the bedroom. No power to it yet. An electrician has to come and wire power in, but looks nice and level, nice and centered. And I'm happy with it. Finished up there. Overall, I think it turned out nicely. The original plan was going to be to mount it on the wall, but there wasn't really much room, so we just put it in the same orientation as the other units, and it looks good. The line set covers, I think, look good. In total, it took us 3.5 hours. It would have been a little bit quicker if I had come prepared with the elbows already, because we were down a person and had to wait on those parts once we had a certain amount done. I hope the homeowner's happy. They're not there to see it, their son's there to see it. And I guess we'll find out whether or not it works after the electrician
at the next light, turn left.
But if you liked the video, make sure you like it. Comment any criticisms or feedback. I know I didn't show much, but thanks for watching, and subscribe.